Hey there, Navy Doc 5184 here, and welcome to another music reaction. Today I am reacting to Postmodern Jukebox, and they were doing a cover of Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me, and it looks like they're doing a 1960s early soul rendition of this. One thing I gotta say about Postmodern Jukebox, and the more and more I've been kind of going back and looking at some of the things that I've been reacting to, like I was talking about, it's like crazy how it feels like some of these shouldn't work, but they do. But then it got to thinking, what if the reason they work so well is because that's part of the influence of the way the song was written? Like, I'm trying to think about how to explain it, but like lots of times, like I know when I've listened to covers and I've talked about, you know, how you can hear certain aspects of different styles in songs when you really listen for it. And what if that's just purely what they're doing, but instead of just, you know, limited to certain parts, they just take it and make the song completely that style? You know what I mean? Like they're talking, like they're doing like a 60s soul cover of this song. Now I'll have to listen to this and see how it looks, but what if the reason, because I feel like it's gonna work. I don't think there's been anything that Postmodern Jukebox has done that I haven't felt that worked. But what if they do it and I hear it and it's like, you know what? Now when I go listen to the other song, it's like I can hear that influence in the song. You know what I mean? And I have a feeling that's probably what's gonna happen. And I'm thinking that's why all their stuff so works, is because they hear like the different styles that probably influence. Like you can listen to one song and probably hear like 10 different types of musical influences on it. But what if it's like they find them and then they just pinpoint one of the influences and then they just do a rendition of the song completely in that style? And I'm wondering if that's why Postmodern Jukebox is so great. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and test this hypothesis. So we will go ahead and get started with this reaction. I will leave a link to the original video in the description below. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. I already hear like the Ray Charles influence on this. Like a bone, baby, come on, get it on. Living like a lover with a radar phone. Looking like a tramp, like a video van. Demolition woman, can I be your man? Yeah. Let me be your man. Alright, so right off the bat, I already feel like they're proving my hypothesis correct. Because, like, I'm just talking about how this sounds like this was probably, like, arranged by Ray Charles, not even gonna lie. You know, the way everything sounds, the vocals and everything, even the backing vocals and everything. But here's the thing, if you listen to like the tempo of the song and kind of like the pace of the song, it feels like it's almost exactly the same. Like I don't feel like they really sped it up too much and they didn't slow it down too much in terms of tempo and pace. It feels like it's the same as the original. So maybe, you know, and I could be reaching, but maybe, you know, when they wrote this song, you know, this was something that kind of influenced the way they did it. But let's see how the song continues. You got to rise a little, dance a little, flash a little light. Television lover, baby, go all night. Yeah, sometime, anytime, sugar me some weed. I mean, they're clearly changing the way the vocals are done, but in terms of pacing and everything, pretty much the same. Oh my goodness. Can't get enough. I'm high, sick and sweet, from my head to my feet. Yeah. Okay, I think it's safe to say, yeah, that again they have done another great job in making something work that you wouldn't expect. But I think that kind of goes to what I was saying before. It's like they have a great way of hearing the influences. It's like when you just say it, you know, you're like, you say like this song done in a 60s soul style. It's like just saying it doesn't seem like it works, but then you hear them do it and it's like, wow, they make it work. But then, like I said, just the fact that when you really, really listen to it, and you try to see like what they changed. Obviously, yeah, they changed the style, they changed the vocals a little bit, but in terms of like the pacing, the tempo, you know, like the flow and everything still seems to be the same. It's like really all they did was just like, instead of making it more of kind of like a hair metal type style, you know, they made it a soul style. But I don't feel like anything has really changed all that much, because it's like you always hear all these influences and all types of things, you know. It just, you really have to know the music to hear it, and they clearly heard this influence, and oh my goodness, it's disgusting how they do this so much and so well and so easy. It's like, it's not fair that they do it so easily. That's it on the bone, man. Let me say this too. The people they picked to do the vocals on this, let me double check, who is it? Kendall Wild, because I usually try to make sure I show some love to the vocalists that they choose when they do these covers. They always do such a good job at picking the vocalists for these covers too. I don't think, again, obviously I talked about how they haven't missed yet in terms of the songs they've done and how they've done it, but I think a part of that goes into picking the right vocalist for these every single time. It's just, how in the world did they do it so efficiently? It's not fair. It's disgusting how well they do, but I just want to make sure I throw some love for Kendall out here. I actually feel bad that I didn't even acknowledge her prior to. Normally I tried to do that, but throwing some love to Kendall there while I'm thinking about it. I love how they even throw in like some very, oh wow. Okay, so I gotta say that little part again. Oh, what's the name of the song? I think it was What I Say. I got such a strong What I Say vibe from that. And I guess that just goes to saying, because I was talking about how I got such a huge Ray Charles vibe, you know, listen to this. I'm like, they just added to it right there, you know. And I was just thinking, I'm like, you know, I need to show some love to the backing vocalist too. And it's like, okay, yeah, they just decided to remind me. It's like, hey, we're here too. But oh my goodness, that's just, oh Ray, man, I miss that man. That man was amazing. From my head to my feet. Absolutely lovely. Jeez, woman. Go easy on us now. Sweet from my head Wow. Alrighty then. Okay. Alright, y'all, that was Postmodern Jukebox doing a cover of Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me, and holy cow. I am not gonna lie, I think that might be my favorite Postmodern Jukebox number I've heard so far. That was absolutely amazing. And one of the things that I was mentioning that I kind of got sidetracked on, that I want to kind of point out now that it's in my head, is I was thinking about how it's impressive how not just with the vocals and everything, but how they throw in like little bits of choreography that fit the theme with it, and it's nothing too crazy. Granted, you really don't need to do anything, but it's like they get like choreography that would fit, like had that song been recorded in that time and been performed in that time, I feel like that's exactly the choreography that would probably be thrown in a number like that. And it, like everything they do, I don't know how they do it. I've just gotten to the point where I've just accepted that they can do it, it's going to be done, and we just need to accept it. I mean, it's one of those things where I think about it, I'm like, even if you're like a diehard Def Leppard fan and you heard this, you gotta think, it's like, man, they did a pretty freaking good job with that, But again, I think it just goes to like when you really listen to it, and the fact that really the only thing I would say they changed is just the sound of it to match the early 60s soul style. I'll just say it like basically they did it as if Ray Charles did the song. So that's like really the only thing they changed. It doesn't feel like they really changed the pace, the tempo, the flow, or anything like that, which really kind of tells me that maybe when they wrote the song originally, that was probably something it's had in their mind. It's like, I want to kind of have that flow to it, just set to, the backing of like an 80s, hair metal band, whereas here they're like, okay, let's do the same flow, but do, as if it was Ray Charles recording it, it's just one of those things where it's like that influence feels like it had to have been there, because I think that if that wasn't part of an influence that had to do with the making of the song, that probably wouldn't have worked. And I think, and maybe that's the secret formula with that, is that the people who go and arrange these songs, they listen to the song, it's like, okay, what is the influence? What is the musical influence I'm hearing in this song? And it's like, once they hear something, it's like, okay, so instead of this just being this part of it, let's make the whole song match this. And I think that's why it works, is because they catch those influences, and because that was an influence of the song, obviously that means if it was done in that way, it would work. Again, solely my hypothesis, because that's the only way I can think about how they managed to do this so easily, it seems. But even then, it's not really easy, because there's so many times where people can listen to a song, and they really hear nothing outside of what they're hearing, whereas you can get somebody else that listen to it and they're like, well, like they'll listen even to like the way a guitar riff is done, and they're like, oh, you can hear like some blues, or some R&B influence on that, and people are like, huh? But it's something that you really kind of have to have an ear for. It's not that, something that everybody can really pick up on. And I by no means am saying that I can pick up on everything. I just know that there are times where I can hear some of the influence. Like sometimes even just a simple way someone does a chord change, I'm like, oh, that sounds like something they would do in a blues number type of deal. Even though the song itself may not have anything to do with blues, but just how you hear some things. I can't, I'm just so stuck on this song right now, I can't really come up to too many examples off the top of my head. Though I know that there was actually, believe it or not, a Marilyn Manson song I heard, and I'm like, I'm listening to that guitar riff, and it's like, I hear a lot of blues influence on that, which is hard to believe sometimes. What was the name of the song? I think it was Deep Six, maybe. I'd have to double check, but it's not something I've done a react to on the channel, just something I've heard on my own time, but it kind of impressed me to hear, kind of like that sound. But I think that's why Postmodern Jukebox does so well, is they have such an ear for what, helped maybe make the song, and then they just put it together. It's just, It's absolutely amazing. They did a great job, and again, props to Kendall. She killed those vocals, and that's just, again, another thing that PMJ is just really good at. They find these great vocalists and they just make these works of art just come to life. So I think that's pretty much gonna do it for this. I think I have rambled on long enough, so I thank y'all for sticking around through all of that. If you enjoyed the reaction, definitely feel free to hit the like button, and if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see some more reactions. And also, if you are subscribed, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you can be alerted anytime I upload a new video. And if you're interested in supporting the channel even just a little bit extra, you can consider becoming a channel member. You can click the join button to see what perks are available if you do become a member. Some of the perks that I do really like to hit up on is that all these reactions you'll get early access to those, and you'll also get them ad free, so you don't have to worry about dealing with all the ads that you would normally get when watching these videos. And I'm also going to start trying to push out more member exclusive videos, which the content on that will actually start to vary, because I'm actually about to merge my gaming channel with this channel. So you're going to definitely have a wide variety of videos that will be exclusive to members, and along with some other things. But just for the meantime, I just really appreciate you being here. Hope you all had a good time. Definitely make sure to check out some of my other Postmodern Jukebox reactions, and I will catch y'all down the road.